All right, we are live. I just had a little technical difficulties coming into studio there, but I quickly corrected it. Like a true amateur, I was able to work my way through it. And I see that Terminator's in the house, so good evening to you. Hope things are well up your way, up there in the frosty tundra of Canada. So I did want to come on tonight and talk about a few issues. And can everybody who's on right now, can you hear me first of all? Am I getting through to you guys? Video's good, audio's good. Looks good on our end, but I don't know where we are. All right, Skanes girl. Yeah, how you doing, Skanes girl? Good to see you tonight. And again, I trust that we're 5x5. So anyhow, yeah, right on. Hey, thank you. 10x10. Killer. Right on. Thanks, guys. Hey, I wanted to talk about some stuff tonight, and one of which is just, I've been talking a lot about goals that we've set and things that we're just trying to tick off on our bucket list. And one of those goals initially this year started out was monetization. And hopefully this is the last time I'll really have to talk about that. I know I've talked about it quite a bit, but we've got monetized somehow. And I'm not exactly sure what changed, but like 5 days ago, I got an email from YouTube, and I was fully expecting it to like say the same thing that it had said the prior 2 times, because I really didn't do anything to change anything. I just resubmitted. And then I wound up getting an email back from them saying, congratulations, you're now a member of the YouTube Partner Program, which I think is actually super cool, because that was one of the things that I wanted to establish and get done with regard to this channel. And I've had a lot of questions as to why it's been an issue. And I really don't have, the answer, because they just haven't given us an answer. It's still one of those things that's left up, in the air. But I don't know. What do you think is the change of heart? What do you have to say about it?
Well, first I wanted to say hello to everybody that's just recently popping in. But my feelings were that the first person who looked at, or whatever the process is, and didn't monetize you, I think that the next go round, it's kind of like not turning the page and looking for further into. It's just saying, oh, well, they didn't get monetized. They didn't change anything, not monetized again. And then it took more to get somebody else to look further into why it was you weren't being monetized.
Right. Yeah, I tend to agree with that. I think it was an oversight, quite honestly. Let me just say hi to some folks here. Potpourri of Life, good evening. What's up, Tag? Good to see you in the chat tonight, man. And Skanes girl again. And Ina Stanley. Yeah, thank you, Ina. Appreciate that. I won't say it's been a long time coming, because we're still newcomers to this YouTube process. But again, this is like the 3rd time we applied. I guess 3rd time was the charm. I actually think, because I've asked a lot of people about this and I've had question about it, and I know that everybody that I've asked usually has an opinion, and I'm not discounting anybody's opinion. I think everybody's opinion's valid, especially when you don't get a specific answer as to why certain things happen. People tend to speculate and, tend to go kind of in more of a conspiratorial type of a direction. And initially I didn't believe that, but the longer things drag out, the more you kind of start to go, well, maybe so. Maybe there is something to some of the things that people are saying. But I honestly just think it just boils down to the fact that we kind of probably got lost in the cracks. And I made I won't say quite a stink, but I was much more vocal about it on the 3rd go around. I didn't really give a shit what they thought, as far as like not trying to offend anybody, because you're not listening to me anyhow. So I I let them know exactly what I felt with regard to what had been taking place in the review that I gave them. Because when you interact with Google support, then they'll send you this like, hey, how did we do? They want to get some feedback. Well, I gave them some feedback, and I gave them the most dissatisfied response that they could possibly get. I gave them the lowest possible, and then I gave them a whole long list of questions as to what's wrong with this channel and why are you going down this road, and like, I just want to know, like, what's the problem? I'll fix it, right?
So you were making a stink.
Yeah, I guess I was in a sense, but I think it's just that they didn't hear this channel, and I can see why. And I think people fail to recognize sometimes the vastness of social media. This landscape is so vast, and that your specific channel is nothing. And I've said that before. I said that they could lose a ton of these types of channels, the same size as mine, the same whatever as my channel, and they wouldn't blink an eye. I actually looked it up and looked up some statistics. And there's over 31 million channels on YouTube. Just on YouTube. Think about that. 31 million people have a channel. And there's over 12 million of those channels that earn part-time income. And there's over 1 million of those channels that make a full-time living on YouTube. Think about that. That's a tremendous amount of content. And so for one channel to even be heard, especially a channel small like this channel or any other channel, it's kind of like you're in a sea of like vastness. There's also, think about this, there is 500 hours of content uploaded to YouTube every minute. So I titled this talk, I guess, this live stream tonight, I put it on the thumbnail. I said, not good enough, or is it something else? And I think that that's always like the question, if like you get some kind of a response or you get a lack of response when you put content out there, you think, oh, well, they're suppressing my content. I'm being shadow banned. They don't like the message, and I have a hard time actually believing that. I really, I understand that there's a political agenda, a political bent to people that run these large corporations. And it's usually not friendly to one side of the aisle with regard to politics. I understand that. And I understand that there's also been channels that have been vaporized because they haven't played the game as the game was told it should be played. And then those people want to bitch about it when they're gone, right? They think they can get on these platforms and say anything that they want. And then they're slapped. And then I got, it's not free speech. Well, this isn't a free speech platform. None of these are, And so I think that that's something that I recognize, and I don't think that I'm being targeted or necessarily directly targeted. I think that it's just one of those things that's YouTube is just another platform that's looking to make money. And that's what they have an interest in doing. And here's the reason why I say that. Okay. I'm not just saying this because that's what I think. This is why I say that, is because throughout all of this process, I have had videos that have done very well. They've continued to perform well. I've got they keep getting impressions from YouTube. I keep getting new people subscribing to my channel. I keep getting, a lot of views and growth with specific videos. Other videos, not so much. Is that because, I think it's because my content isn't resonating in a way with certain people. And it just shows, because I fully believe that this platform, all they care about really is money. They don't care as much about politics as I think people think. They want to keep people on the platform for as long as possible and make as much money for YouTube. That's their bottom line. And that's the way I believe. And I'm just grateful to be monetized now, so I can kind of start to see a little bit of the money that YouTube's been seeing off the content that we've been providing for a few years now. So yeah, it's just cool. I don't want to beat this up any more than I already have, because I can get on one and sometimes I get pretty opinionated about it, but I think that it's important to like just talk about that, because like I say, I'm not here to promote conspiracies about why my channel's getting, or videos done shitty. I'm not going to say, oh, I'm being shadow banned. I don't believe that for a minute, because I've got videos that have done well. And there's other channels with very specific content, similar content, I should say, that are doing well. So, I don't think it's a personal thing, because they don't even know who I am. They don't know who she is. So,
but you also don't know, how like certain of the videos were marked about the advertising may not get revenue. I mean, you don't know that from theirs. It might be a video that's doing really well, but yet it's the same thing for them. They're not getting that much revenue in from that because they view that there's some harmful.
Yeah. I just think, honestly, I think it's probably one or maybe a couple of videos that I posted. And again, I've got that one video with nearly 4.5 million views. And I've got a lot of positive response, but I've also got a lot of people who are offended by certain things in that video. And people have the ability to go and say harmful content. They can click on the little 3 dashes or 3 buttons or whatever, dots. And then they can say, what is this? Is this inappropriate in this way, this way, this way, or this way? And if they click harmful content because it pisses them off or they're just being a troll, then that's going to show up. And when you have a video with that many views, it's going to like trigger something, right? So I think that's probably part of it. And like I say, I just hope that this is, behind us, because it's not.
What's that question?
It's not. Is the money worth it? Genuine question, because I keep thinking about posting our homesteading verse. I'm not the person to ask about whether or not the money's worth it, because we're not really making any money. I would say this: it's worth it in the sense that if you're putting content out and people are deriving value from it,
and you're enjoying it,
you're getting something from it. It's a way that you as a creator can reap some form of benefit, because there's going to be advertising done on that particular video. So I would encourage you, absolutely, if you have content to share, go out and share that, because more than the money really is the knowledge that you'll be able to pass along to somebody else, and potentially the relationship that you may build with somebody you never would have otherwise had the opportunity to interact with. I think that's the more important message, quite honestly. But yeah, money's as an issue, because putting this content out there is not without consequence. It takes time for me to do certain things with regard to making content. I get a lot more done around here when I'm not worried about trying to like film something that I'm doing. I can just go out and do it. And that's actually what I've been doing the last few weeks, because the weather's been so good and I've been very super motivated by just the weather. It's been nice. But yeah, I would absolutely say that it's worth it, because you should be compensated for your time. Time is worth something. I'm very grateful for the people that are spending time with us tonight. I'm very grateful for the people that would take time out of their day to watch any of our videos, because as I said before, the landscape is vast. There's a tremendous amount of competition out there, not only on this platform, but every other platform. You can sit there forever and just flick through video after video, and people do that all day long. So again, what makes our content so special that you would want to spend it with us? We have to deliver. And so I would say, yeah, I appreciate that question for sure. Yeah, post about your homesteading adventures.
Plus, it's kind of fun to go back and watch what is it you posted as well. We do that with our PCT.
Yeah,
we go back and we actually watch those videos, because you kind of forget bits and pieces, and it just brightens up that memory of the. Yeah, I spoke about this in another live stream, but I really do think that it's important to be a creator. Create something, and
another hiking channel that I had watched. That's what he had inspired me to do, because he had that tattoo on his forearm that said create. And he said, go out there and create something. And I was inspired to go out and create videos on our hiking thing. And I'm so grateful that I did, because you forget so many things that you see in just a single day. And so at least now we have some record of that. And, being a creator is cool because, there's so much to share, and everybody's journey is somewhere that, along a certain spectrum. And even though you think you may not have something to contribute, I can almost assure you that you do, because everybody has a different starting point. So absolutely do it. Let's see. Yeah. Thank you. William says, the things I've learned on your channel have been a blessing. Thanks. God bless. Appreciate it. Yeah. Tags. Yeah, for sure, man. Yeah. It's not like anything where I'm looking to pay my bills specifically, but there is a cost associated with putting yourself out there and providing content. So there should be a little bit of reciprocation on the back end. It shouldn't just be an expectation of like, oh, I'm going to do this and put effort into it and then get nothing in return. So I appreciate the content is very helpful. Yeah, right on. You betcha, Michael. We're going to continue to do that. We will continue. Let's see what I sometimes question if it's worth my time, but I do enjoy sharing as I go along with my journey. Yeah.
That's really good. Like I said earlier, that's something you can look back on and kind of re-enjoy that journey again, because there's aspects of it that you forget. And it just freshens your memory.
One thing that I've thought about before, and I think it's we're in an interesting time in our lives, because, my parents and her parents, they grew up obviously in a different era. And I think about this because when certain people die, they take all that with them, right? Just think about your grandparents. Think about the knowledge that they had. And that the only thing that's passed on is what they pass on to that person directly. And when they die, that hard drive right here, it goes with them. And there's no record of it except what they've passed on to their descendants, if their descendants were wise enough to listen to it. So how cool is it to be able to create something that, even though your grandkid today might not be willing to listen to what you have to say, that when they get a little bit older, they can go back and say, that's the way my grandpa did that. And they can go back to a platform and see how they did it. So I think that that's really a cool aspect of the time that we are in life, and just think about it from that standpoint, because, knowledge is important and it's valuable. And so, I don't know. I kind of think about that. Hey, what's up? G, how you doing, man? Oh, Grumpy Acres in the house. Yeah, I saw that video he did this morning, man. Dude, it had me cracking up, because he posted this video this morning. He's like got his chickens in the background and they're crowing away and stuff, and I got my phone up in my pocket and I'm not even watching the video. I'm just listening to him, and the chicken is going crowing, and then my chickens come running over the fence, right? And the roosters are just going nuts. They're just crowing like crazy. And every time his would crow, mine would crow, and I just it was killing me. It's awesome. Yeah. I think I'll have a little bit of coffee. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, we were watching some commercials that were from a long time ago. And for me, I have siblings that are so much older than I was, that I watched a lot of TV that I remember a lot of it through them, because they're older. And actually I saw things, or was forced to watch shows that I typically wouldn't have watched because I was a lot younger. And so watching these commercials was funny to see them, because I could remember them, but ordinarily I wouldn't without those older siblings.
Yeah. What's up, Chuck? Good evening, man. I looking forward to seeing Chuck out in Kentucky. Both of us will be out at the Kentucky Sustainable Living Festival that they're going to be holding in October. And Chuck's going to be teaching a class on Friday, and I'm going to be teaching a class concurrently on the same day, Friday. So more information will be coming out about that forthcoming once they get that information up on the website. But guys might want to consider another festival that if you're in the area, you could get down there and meet some like-minded people and get a chance to maybe learn something and do some networking. But I'm going to be teaching a class on plant guilds, planting a fruit tree guild, and just developing a permaculture food forest. So, and then Chuck's going to be doing his medical stuff. And yeah, I'm looking forward to getting an opportunity to head on down to Kentucky in October. It'd be October. The class will be on Friday, and that'll be on October 27th. And then it'll be, the festival itself will be Saturday and Sunday, which is the 28th. No, yeah, the 28th and the 29th. So yeah, Chuck's going to be teaching Homestead Medical. Good class, good course, good dude. So, and yep, Grumpy Acres will be there in the house for sure. We'll see you down there. Looking forward to it. I just got my plane ticket today and all that. So
you did?
she did. Right. Thanks for keeping me correct. Yeah, man, tag does need to come for sure. Yeah, we just last night at midnight we ended the t-shirt campaign that we'd started, and I got the intel from G at Grumpy Acres, and he was kind of telling me about, doing a t-shirt, you could do it on Bonfire. So I looked into that and created a few, well, it's just one design, but it's, I had several different shirts available and a sweatshirt, hoodie, and stuff like that, and created a store. And we had run this campaign for like 10 days, and we got some folks to chip in and get some of that merch. So I appreciate all of those that supported us in that campaign. It ended last night. So those shirts that were ordered will be shipping out and be heading out, and they'll probably expect to see them in like 2 weeks is what they said. So just hold tight, and those will be coming towards you. But yeah, I'm kind of stoked. I got a sweatshirt, and she got a sweatshirt, so we'll be rocking those. I like it. It's got a chicken on it. Yeah.
Chicken brock.
Yeah.
Art's what our granddaughter says.
Yep. Yeah. So a couple of the other things we've been doing in the last couple of weeks in moving forward. Oh, right on. Let's see. Skane's girl says, I'm prepping to plant fruit tree guilds this fall. Cool. Yeah. Yeah. What are you planting? Are you doing like a large area, or are you planting, just some specific fruit trees with a few little supporting plants, cast of characters around them, or what are you doing? Yeah. Right on. Yeah, that festival just ended as well, Midwest Preparedness Festival, and I believe that was pretty well attended. I'm gonna try my best at some point to see if I can't get out that way. It seems like it's a pretty good event and a lot of good people out there, so I would be very much interested in going out and seeing what's shaking there in Kansas. But yeah, a lot of festivals going around and a lot more coming up. So I was just getting ready to say we added some pigs over the weekend, and those will probably be getting processed out sometime later in the year, like around mid to late October, maybe early November. Just depends on their development, but they're pretty young barrows right now that we just picked up and just getting them onto some feed. But yeah,
we were pretty stoked they were still in the pen when we got up in the morning.
Yeah. We've had priors where they've wound up getting out, which is super odd because it's you would think that they wouldn't be able to climb over like a 48 inch tall, 52 inch tall hog panel. But that's what we had one do last year, which was something I'd never had happen out of that pen. We've raised, multiple hogs out of that pen, and they can't get out. They can't dig out. But this one wound up bracing itself in the corner and shimmying itself up over and then bounced out. So I was concerned that that would happen again. So I wound up like doubling the size of the cattle panel, and it's really tall. And they're not coming up and over the top of that. But these are smaller pigs because they're only 6 weeks old, and they're still pretty small. So I was concerned that if one of them was smart enough, because I have had a wild pig. My daughter caught a wild pig years ago, and we put that one in there thinking, oh, we're gonna, let's raise this thing up and we'll butcher it,
But it was tiny.
It was small, but it shouldn't have got out of that, cattle panel square is pretty small. But I watched him. I actually got up in the morning and opened up this window right here, looked out and saw and just at the right time, I saw that pig, like, and he shimmied sideways and shot out, and he was gone. And I was just like, I didn't just see that, did I? But yeah, they can get out of cattle panel. They can climb out. They're one of the smarter livestocks that I've ever raised. They're very smart, intelligent animal. And I love pigs. They're cool. Super cool.
Grumpy wants to know the breed. They're mutts. We were told they're a mixture of.
Oh yeah. No, they're crossed with some Berkshires. There's a Berkshire was one of the boars, so they got Berkshire in them, and then one of them's like a Berk Hamp, and then the other one's got like a little Landrace in them. So they're pretty well crossed up. They look like pretty nice pigs, but definitely they've got the Shire ears, So pretty tame, quite honestly. They're pretty mellow. So.
But they keep a watchful eye on you.
Oh, I know. That's why I was kind of stressed thinking they were going to like jump out of there, because that's what happened that one last year. It was the weirdest thing. I put it in there, and it was just like, and it had that like side eye, and it was just looking at me, watching me. And then in the morning it was gone, So it was just like, I'm just waiting till that dude goes to bed, and then I'm going to make my break. And that's the way they were looking at me too. They kind of had that side eye, and I was like, oh man, But anyhow, we got some pigs, so I'm happy about that.
And they're cute.
Another thing that we wound up doing over this last couple of weeks since we spoke to you last was, I told you before, I was working on a water project, and started that project back last fall. And in between last video and this video, I was able to get 250 feet of the pipe from the project down to the site where I'm going to store the water. That's all in the ground in boxes and ready to be plumbed into a tank. And yesterday I poured a little bit of extra on the pad, just because the size of the tank, the diameter is a little bit bigger than, the pad that I had. So I did a little bit addition to pour. And then we just went down today and purchased the tank. So we got a 3,000 gallon tank that's going to go in on this site. And then that'll give me 3,000 additional gallons of storage. And I need to figure out from there what I'm going to wind up doing with it.
So Shady's asking if comfrey is poisonous too.
Mm-mm. Yeah, no, there's been people. Yeah, they can totally eat it. They eat the heck out of that stuff. Quite honestly, I don't have a lot of comfrey to feed to them. I fed a little bit of it last year because I kind of just started with comfrey. I don't have a tremendous amount of it, but I wound up digging some of it up and propagating it elsewhere. So I'm going to have a little bit more and more and more as time goes on. But yeah, they can eat that stuff. They actually like it quite a bit. But no, it's not poisonous to them. Let's see here.
It says turkey gives him side eye.
What's that?
You gotta go.
Oh yeah. Turkeys and chickens, that's all they got. That's the only game they have is side eye, right? They look at you like all crazy.
I like when they come up and they look at you and then they cock their head and then their eyes turn their head and just look at you sideways.
See what Skane's girl said. I live on a steep hill. I'm terracing in the next couple of weeks. Yeah, I have a peach, apple, persimmon, blueberry varieties, potting them in pots most likely tomorrow. Yeah, very cool. Cool. Yeah, steep properties can be really challenging. We're pretty fortunate here to have pretty open rolling ground and don't have to deal with the terracing and some of the other challenges that come with steep properties. But where I grew up, it was very steep. And so we had a lot of those same concerns. Where the homestead was nice and kind of flat, and then it just everything rolled off from there, and then across the road it went up the hill and it was super steep. And so yeah, I know all about the terracing issues and things associated with that. Super challenging. Yeah. Yeah. Another thing that like she's been working on, which I actually think this is super cool because something a lot of homesteaders are doing, something that our ancestors did forever. But it's one of those things that I think people expect that you do in some regards, but we've never done that before. There's a lot of things, quite honestly, we've never done as homesteaders. And we're learning all the time. And so she is doing something. What do you?
I made my first loaf of soap.
Yeah.
So that was
Excuse me.
a learning process. I did a lot of reading first because of what he just said. I've never done it before, and I was trying to find out as much of it as I possibly could. And then just kind of threw my hands up and said, I got to jump in and just do it. So I did. And so far, I think it's okay. Took it out and cut it, day before yesterday, I think, or yesterday?
Yeah, yesterday.
And so now it needs to, I guess, cure for 4
Yeah.
weeks.
Yeah. We're not soap making experts over here, but like we got a chance to use it yesterday, and it works pretty good. I'm sure it'll get better as it hardens up or whatever. But that's just one more thing that if we can make, it just makes it better so that we don't have to buy, and obviously you have to buy certain things to make the soap, but you don't have to specifically make the soap. And then if somebody else needs soap, you have the ability to make the soap and provide soap. And so I think for a lot of this stuff, for me, it's not necessarily as important from the standpoint of turning around and selling to someone, but just having the ability and the know-how to do it and to be able to provide for your immediate circle of family and friends. I think that's super important because, man, I tell you, there's some things I saw, and I'm sure we all did in the last few years, where they, said, hey, you got to do this or you got to do that. And if you don't have to do that, no, I don't have to do that. I'll go elsewhere to get that. Sorry, I don't have to do business here. If you have the ability to do that, that just provides so much strength. And soap, it seems like it's a small thing, but you start adding soap and then you add something else and you add this and you add that. Pretty soon you don't have to, there's ways of getting around things is what I'm trying to say.
So the answer to Skane's Girl, I did not film it. I should have. It was supposed to be just a white bar of soap because it was just the very basic, but I couldn't take it. I had to add color to it and a fragrance. So I like the fragrance. He's warming up to it.
Yeah. No, it's fine. It's good. It's good soap so far. I'm sure, as with anything, when you get a little bit of more time in making something and learning how to refine it better, it's going to be better. But I mean, I liked it just fine. But yeah, that'd be cool to like film it or something. But it's one of those things, man. You don't want to be filming stuff when you don't know what you're doing so much. You'd be like, hey, this is what And with respect to like YouTube and everything, a lot of times there's this expectation when you see things on YouTube, people post stuff and you're thinking, oh, they know what they're talking about. And that may or may not be the case so much. So, yeah, there's yeah, I don't know if that's something you're interested in doing it in the future, as far as like you get better at something, maybe make a soap making video. Cause, yeah.
Yeah, I guess I wanted to first see how it was going to turn out. So I'm still waiting to see what it's like once it cures and sets up. He couldn't wait, and so um, we had to try a bar that was still somewhat soft.
Yeah. Yeah. 4 to 6 weeks, man. That's a long time to wait. So yeah, like I say, it lathers up, works fine, cleans you up, doesn't leave you feeling funky. So yeah, that's what soap's supposed to do. So kudos to you.
There's different. I can't read the name. The olive oil, coconut oil, and shea butter.
A rapier.
Yeah, I didn't do it that way. I actually used lard, coconut oil. Those were the only two, and then the lye and distilled water, I think, were pretty much it, other than the coloring and the fragrance. So it was a very, very basic. And then from there, I'll kind of venture out a little bit further, but I tried to keep it simple my first go round.
Yeah. That's, I think, the best way to go. Don't get too in the weeds, you know. Uncle John's Soap on YouTube is a great channel between how to make soap and shave soaps. Yeah. You know what I'd like to make or have somebody I need to learn how to do this. Maybe you could learn how to do it, but she's not going to be digging this because she wants me to she's not into the beard, but
he wants me to do beard oil.
Yeah, man. Beard oil. Would that be cool? Huh? Yeah, we could do some beard oil with some of these eucalyptus trees out here.
So I should grow a beard?
No. Oh, man. Hey, man, what makes you think I don't already have silky, small, soft skin? My first one was just olive oil, lye, and distilled water. Yeah, that's what that's all the ingredients you need, man. Just oil and lye and water for sure.
I was really surprised with the lard because I'd never rendered it down before, but it was kind of this creamy color. And then in the morning when I took it out of the refrigerator, it was like snow white. I was like, wow.
That ain't right, man. That ain't right. Yeah, you'll be talking about. That's funny. Yeah. So, I guess what you guys can expect from the channel moving forward is hopefully just more of the same. And I've got a couple of videos coming out moving forward. Next week, I'm going to have a video on the chicken yard and talking about how we reduce our feed costs there by some of the waste streams that we utilize. So I'll be having another video kind of speaking more about that. And if that's something you're interested in, check that out. But that'll be a part of the chicken composting series. And the following week, I'm going to be releasing a video that is more of an update on the sheep tractor that I put together, because I had put together a video on my sheep tractor that I built. It's actually one of those videos that's doing well. It's weird because you get a video that you release and it doesn't necessarily hit right away. It can be a good video and you think it's a good video, but it doesn't necessarily start to get traction until YouTube finds the right audience for that particular video. And then all of a sudden, once YouTube finds the right audience for that, they start showing it to those people who like that sort of content. And then therefore your video will start to take off. And that's what that video wound up doing. It had not that many views. And I think it's doing pretty well now, a couple thousand, I guess, maybe, or whatever. But it's one of those videos that continually did well, even though I was having this monetization issue, right? But if you haven't checked that out, you might want to see what that video is about. But the one that I'm going to be having actually now has sheep in it. So we've run it for about a month with having sheep in this tractor. And as with any do-it-yourself project, right, you get these great ideas. Oh, I'm going to do it this way, and it's going to work like this. And then you put animals in it, and you're like, yeah, I need to make some changes. So there was, some things I kind of had to adjust and tweak and stuff. Nothing dramatic, but they've been in that for now about a month. Don't have her hit this, please.
We have a visitor.
Yeah. Old Ellie Mae. Yeah, they've been in it for about a month. And I've also wanted to incorporate and to talk about how we water those animals in that tractor, because they live in that tractor. They don't come out of there. They're in there. It's a sheep tractor, and that's where they basically stay while they're in there on pasture. And I move them around. And I haven't really seen a lot of people talking specifically about how you navigate the issue of providing water to your animals in that. So that's one of the things that I'm going to be speaking about in this particular video. So if you want to check that out, certainly, yeah, that'll be coming out in a couple of weeks. So.
And those poor sheep, I keep calling them goats.
Yeah, they kind of look like goats because they don't really have like the wool. They're a hair sheep. And so they kind of have, hair, and they do kind of look goat-like. Hey, welcome, Bird Lady Burke Speaks. Yeah, good to see you in the chat.
Or I just want a goat that bad that they've become my new goats.
We're not getting goats. I'm telling you that right now. That's not happening.
Hey, can you stop that?
Our neighbors have goats, and yeah, we ain't getting goats. Those things are a pain in the ass.
They got out one time. We had about 7 of them on our property, and this was quite a while ago. And I took a picture of them and sent him, and I said, "Hey, I just got some goats."
Yeah.
And he said, "Get rid of those."
Yeah, they're our neighbors are doing much better at keeping them on their property. But it's one of those issues that, as a neighbor, you occasionally have to deal with neighbors who have animals that get out, right? And you don't want to be that neighbor who's constantly being an asshole, like, "Hey, get your goats off my property." I like my neighbors, but I just don't like their goats on my property, because that's why you have property and fences. I'm not feeding your animals, dude. So it's just one of those things where you kind of have to deal with as a neighbor. And they're just an animal that everyone that I've ever talked with, and the experience that I've had with having them like right next door, I've picked their goats out of their fence, man. I look up there and there's like a goat hanging in the fence, and they're like out of town. And so I have to go up there and like get this goat out of the fence, and they're just like, they're just incorrigible. Let's see here. Yeah. Yeah. Looking forward to it and learning some from you. Doing the same up here in Northeast Texas, and we'll be getting my own content out once I get over the camera shying. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, don't be shy. That's the thing, man. Like, you just have to put yourself out there. I've heard a lot of people with regard to like content creation that are content creators that teach others how to be content creators. That's what they say, is that you just have to start. You just have to like press record, and your first videos aren't going to be great. It's just get over that. You're not going to be like amazing. You just have to get out there and do it. And the more that you put yourself in positions of discomfort, the better you get with being comfortable in those positions. So if it's anything that you have an interest in doing, don't put it off. Don't say, "Oh, I'm this or I'm that. I can't do it, or I have nothing to offer," because I can assure you that if you put out the effort, you're going to get results. And so, yeah, I would encourage you to definitely do it. Yeah, let's see here. Hold on a second. What's up, Jason? Good, man. Glad to have you in the house. I was talking a little bit earlier about, the KSL's festival that's coming up, and giving the dates out and stuff. And I'm assuming, we haven't talked on it recently, but we chatted a little bit this morning via text, but I'm assuming you're going to be getting the website up and running soon. So if you have any intel on that or whatever, maybe put it in the chat, and people can kind of expect when to start seeing a place to go so that they can get some information on this festival you guys are putting together. But I'm excited about it. And I think that it's going to be, a good event. I like the way you guys are, where you've set it up, and it looks like it's in a good location and going to have some great people there. So Yeah, getting back to what I was saying, my grandson he was all nervous because he was going to have to get up and do a speech for his pig. He's in 4-H, and it's his first pig, and he had to get up and talk and everything, and he's nervous. And I told him, I said, "Don't be nervous, dude. Just get up there and talk. You know how to talk." And then he went and did the thing, and he apparently did great. I didn't get to see it. My daughter basically said he did great, and he just got up and spoke with no notes and didn't seem to be nervous or anything. And I'm not saying what I said had any bearing on that, but that's just the reality of it. We get nervous. We think, oh, this is this or this is that. Just go and do it. And then you'll find out, that wasn't so bad. So just get out there and do it, man. Cool. Did I miss anything here in the chat at all? Got some good folks in there tonight. Yeah, if any of you guys are interested, because I'm always interested in chatting with cool people, reach out. Don't be nervous, and come have a chat with me, and we'll do a live stream. So if you have something that you want to contribute to the conversation, maybe reach out via email, and all of my email links and everything are in the show notes, so you can contact us. And if you have something you want to discuss regarding what you're doing on your homestead or otherwise, maybe we can do that. Who knows? So what do you got?
Oh, I was wondering what she's using the black soldier flies for, because I can't see it.
Probably chicken food. Let's see here.
To compost. Feed for chickens.
Oh yeah, right there. Yeah. A lot of people do that. A lot of people are into the black soldier flies, and I'm assuming they're just a great protein source from what I have seen. I get black soldier flies in the manure that is out in the field from the cows. And occasionally I'll go out and I'll start scooping up patties and bring them into the chickens and put them in my compost piles. And when you flip those things over after they've been there for about a week or so, they're just loaded with black soldier flies. And so I don't really have to do much to get those other than go out and pick up some cow patties or something if I want them. But yeah, those are a great protein source for chickens, as a lot of the little grub-like things that are out there.
And bird lady, I'm on animal restriction too. I can't have goats.
Yeah.
I can't have a horse.
Oh, you can have a horse, but I mean, like, I don't know, man. We had horses when I grew up, and it's fine if you're using them all the time for something specific other than just like having this horse that you feed. If you're using them like for work, like rounding cows up or something like that, then they're really valuable. And they're valuable if you're getting a lot of pleasure out of them and you're riding them all the time. People have pets and they have horses and they like to ride them, and I get it. But if you've got this horse that you're just like feeding, I'm not into that. Right? So yeah, you could have a horse, but like they eat a lot, man. That's why I like motorcycles, because you just put gas in the tank when you.
That's eating. They eat a lot too.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Let's see here. Dwarf goats, man. Yeah. Goats are cool. They're kind of a fun animal, but they just are very hard to contain, and they're super like a pain to me. I don't know. And I actually had goat as far as eating them recently, and I actually really liked it. So, yeah, might be a valuable meat source, but we're still trying to work her into sheep. So that's what those sheep out there are going to be for. We're going to try to butcher those and process them up, and maybe I'll mix in some pig fat or something and fool her into thinking it's a burger, like hamburger or something.
So you're going to start cooking?
Probably not.
I'm game.
Yeah, right on. Yeah, right on, Jason. Press record and wing it, man. That's what you got to do. You'll get better. Every video, you'll get better. I had a goat. Will not have again. She managed let our chickens and ducks out when it was not open. Decided to rip them. Screen on our deck where we used a freezer to store feed. Yeah. Gosh, man, I've heard a lot of goat stories. I've never personally owned them, but I've just heard a lot of stories, and I've seen what goes on right north of me here. Yeah. I agree with that. Yeah. There's just so much content, and everybody's starting from a different place. So just never forget that either, because there's things that I did as a child that I thought, oh man, everybody knows how to do this. This is like old news. And then I post about it. Right. And then somebody's like, oh, this is a game changer. I never knew this. Thank you. And I'm thinking, wow, everybody starts at different places. So it's just one of those things. Don't undersell your own ability if you're thinking of, putting yourself out there. I think for me, it wasn't that I had a really specific desire to be a content creator and talk about what we've done here for years on our homestead. I just didn't have that desire, but I got that desire reinvigorated, I suppose, after going to the Self-Reliance Festival and hearing, Toolman Tim talk about content creation. And that's kind of what inspired me to say, well, sure, why not? Right? I could actually do this. And then, actually make a little bit of money for just sharing knowledge and just putting out what we do here. I thought, well, that's pretty cool. I'm going to just go ahead and give that a try. And that's what we did, and so I would encourage you, if you even thinking about it, go ahead and put yourself out there. Yeah. Let's see here. What's this? When they've been South Louisiana, neighbor's goat was in love with our chocolate lab. One night when we were gone, she slid under the dog fence and came into the house via the doggy door. I don't know, man. Yeah, that's too much.
We had a dog. Its name was Hendrix. And he was Border Collie, Australian Shepherd, and Queensland Heeler mix. Afraid of everything, absolutely afraid of everything. I had to have a mobile vet come to the house for the dog to get shots because he was afraid to ride in the car. But every year that our son would get a pig to go to the fair, that dog would fall in love with the pig. Yeah. And would actually mourn for like 2 weeks after the pig went to the fair. Yeah. It was so sad. Yeah. They're pigs are cool, man. I think they're a really fun animal, and people kind of give them a bad rap, that like thinking they're filthy and dirty and stuff, but they're actually quite sanitary from what I've seen, as far as where they kind of go to the bathroom in one area and stuff. Remember the one year that after the pig left, he took up with the scarecrow up in the field, and he laid next to the scarecrow in this lawn chair. It was so sad. Yeah, poor old Hendrix. Let's see here. What do we got? Life number. Desire to add cost benefit. If there's a revenue to be had. Yeah. I agree. Well, hey guys, that's about all I had to cover for this evening. And honestly, I really appreciate people stopping in and sharing the time with us, because like I said, it's, we only have so many hours to spend our time. So where we spend it is precious. And I appreciate you guys coming over and hanging out with us for a little bit while we yammer on about what we've been doing here for the last couple of weeks. And glad to go ahead. Oh, and crazy stuff. Yeah. That has no purpose. Yeah. I'm glad that hopefully we can put this monetization issue behind us and just move forward and realize that you're really probably not going to get an answer if you go through this sort of a process. I still have yet to get an answer. So again, what that leaves is people to kind of think, well, maybe it's this or maybe it's that. We just don't know. And I gave you my impression as to why I thought
it's because the squeaky wheel finally got a little bit of grease, you know, and yeah, I'm just grateful to maybe hopefully not have to talk about this shit anymore. But yeah, thank you, Lady Bird, or Bird Lady. Bird Lady speaks. Yeah, pigs are cool, brother. Hey, yeah, you're gonna have to post a video, G, on your those birds you got, those roosters, those meat birds. What are they called? American breasts. Yeah. And let us know how those are doing, because those are a bird that I actually might consider myself as we kind of rotate birds out of our flock. I might be looking to add a legitimate dual purpose bird to our flock. It's kind of interesting. I posted a video, and it's one of those controversial videos, maybe, right? And I don't know if it's controversial, but it gets people's hackles up. It pisses them off, because so many people, they fall in love with their chickens, right? And so I posted this video where Buff Orpingtons, not my favorite bird, you know, they're a dual purpose bird, right? They call them a dual purpose because they're a little bit bigger body wise, and yet they lay eggs. So you can eat their eggs. You can also eat them, right, as a meat bird. However, the thing that I've found is that, generally speaking, things that claim to do both most of the time don't do either thing very well. So they're not a very good egg producer when you compare them with an actual egg layer. They're, you know, they don't give you as many eggs, and the eggs they give you are small in comparison to the eggs that we get from our egg layers. And they're not really that great of a meat bird, because if you want a meat bird, go get an actual meat bird, right? So I posted this, and then like people, man, they get their freaking hackles up. They get all defensive, like, oh, my Buff Orpingtons are amazing, and you just aren't feeding them right. And, you know, they start trying to defend their flock, right? And I don't know. I'm always in search of efficiency when it comes to animals, and I want animals that convert feed at a very high level. Feed conversion ratio is important to me. I want to feed them not that much and have them kick ass as far as their production. That's what I want. And when I find those animals, those are the genetics that I want to keep on my property. I'm not going to like, hey, I'm going to feed you like all this stuff so you like lay these great eggs. No, you're going to like eat what you get here, and you're going to forage for the rest of it. And if you're one of the superior performers, you get to stay. If you don't, you're chicken strips. And so I don't know. I get people that are kind of like, they don't like that, right? So if you can do a video, G, on your American breast birds, because I've heard some very good things about that breed, and then of course there's breeds like, you know, Java and stuff like that are not as popular. You know, they're not a hatchery like bird that's like very common, like, you know, some of the other dual purpose breeds. They're ones you have to find and stuff. So yeah, just I'd like to know more about that, is all I'm trying to say. Oh yeah, got quite a few American breast chicks coming in June. Right on. Yeah. Yeah, I am definitely interested in that, trying those out. And I just want to know more about people who know more about that, because I don't know about that breed. I haven't been exposed at all. And if you can find something that does well in both arenas, then cool. And just processed some Cornish crosses. This last batch was rough, trying to keep them alive to the 6-week mark. Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. They some people have problems with that. I know, like John Willis, man, that guy had some Cornish crosses that he kept around forever. And these things were huge. They were like turkey size, man, small turkey size. And some people claim that they start breaking their legs and having heart attacks and all that sort of thing. And I'm not saying that they don't. I'm just saying that like what John had was these birds that were, man, they were like hideously large. he should have killed them like a long time ago. And he finally just had somebody come and take them away, and they killed them somewhere else. But he had these birds on his property forever, and they were, you know, huge. So, yeah, they're kind of a difficult bird. We've never raised them here, but my daughter's raised some, and they've had problems kind of with them in that regard. And, you know, some of them dying in the heat and stuff like that. They just aren't a very hardy bird, but they certainly grow fast and process a big product for sure. And then also, before I leave, just one additional thing. I'm probably, I might be on, more than likely I'll be going on tomorrow with John Willis and Nicole Sauce. I think I'm going to be on there live. Not for sure, but that's a possibility. So if that's something you're interested in checking out, or maybe check it out in a later time when you're have time to check it. I don't even know what we're talking about, but it should be good.
It's okay.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. Right on. Well, hey, thanks guys, everybody, for being in the chat. I really appreciate it. And you guys are awesome. And I hope
Absolutely.
hope we can do this again. I don't know if we'll do it next week or whatever. I've been kind of alternating doing a live stream with somebody and then doing a live with her and I, but we'll see. If we have something to talk about, we'll pop on. If not, we'll just leave it there. But yeah, appreciate it. Thanks for showing up. Potpourri of life. Yeah, Skade's girl in the house. Grumpy G.
Bird lady.
Bird lady. Yeah, thanks again. Oh, right on, Terminator. It's good to see you. And hope things are well with you up there in the high country. Okay.
Yeah, it was great seeing you guys.
Yep. All right, guys, we're going to thanks again.
Bye.